Azure portal. So we're going to log into that. Give me thumbs up that if you are able to log in. Good, very good. People on phone, awesome. Make sure you log in. And one request is, this exercise is approximately 1 hour long. In case if you are having a problem, instantly speak up, but don't speak up after 10 minutes, because it's pretty hard for me to go back. And there are so many steps we are going to do. I can say maybe 50, 60 steps we're going to do. So it's naturally that you might be, doing something incorrectly, or maybe you're doing differently. I will draw it every area, but I also need to explain some theory concept, because this exercise is not just exercise, but there are a lot of questions you may see in the exam. And that's why I chosen this exercise, because this exercise will take 1.5 hours. So if I try to do theory, I can't do this exercise. So I chosen to do theory, lab. While I'm doing lab, I'm going to explain a lot of concept. So it will clarify, because you're going to do it, you're going to see it, and you will understand it. Okay. Now, when you come here, search for skill set. Skill set. Some of you might have skill set in marketplace. Some of you might have available here. If it is a marketplace, maybe a first time you are using it. Once you use it, it will come back here. Okay. So just click on the virtual machine skill set. Yes. Yeah, but Azure themselves put in a marketplace also. They themselves put it, but they are free. So some resources are free, just like AWS also allow. So there are 3 types of things. One is free, one is someone is selling, and third, you can create your own also. So right now we are using skill set, which is the marketplace, because you are doing first time. Once you add it, it will be available as a normal services. Good. So let's click on a skill set, and your view will change, and you will be like this. So far, so good. People on phone.
Sorry, I was taking a little bit longer to get logged in. Where do you want, or what are you
skill
starting
set?
at?
Just search skill set, and search skill set, and then select the skill set. Skill set. So when you search skill set, right, you will see virtual machine skill sets. Virtual machine skill sets. And click on it. Okay. Now, I'm hoping that you all are here. If you are here, we can get started. Okay. Ready? Now, before I start, I just want to make sure you understand. You all have to remind me that I need to destroy it. Otherwise, it's going to charge me a lot, because we are not going to create 1, 2, 3. We might be able to create a 5 machine. So we will get a decent bill if we don't destroy it. So someone needs to take a note. Make sure you remind me. Otherwise, my new year will be with a nice bill. Okay, sometimes I forget for a week, and this will significantly charge me a lot of money, because per machine we might be charged $10 to $20 maybe per day. Then we'll be charged approximately $100 a day. It means by the time next week it will be $700 bill I will receive. So make sure you remind me, and you also need to do that same, destroy when you are done. So right now we are in a skill sets. Every time when we look for, we always look from here. Now let's click on create. Please follow the flow. Don't be too late, because it will be difficult. So right now you all are here, and I'm going to draw the picture so you will all understand. Okay. At this moment, can I count everyone is here? Okay, awesome. People on phone, I'm hoping you are also here. Awesome. Now I'll switch back to our forum. I want to show you the picture so you can visualize what we are trying to do. Just bear with me. Yeah. Yeah. This is the things we are trying to do. Please understand. Relax and enjoy. The first thing we are trying to do is scale set. Question is, why do we do scale set? Scale, it means auto scale. Set means bunch of machine. Why would I need? So ideally, if you are only going to use one machine, then if machine is down, then you're done. In that case, it's called single point of failure. Everything goes down. In a real life, especially in production, you cannot work with one machine. So you don't have too many choice. One, you can create yourself multiple machines, create a multiple machine, and then you add a load balancer. You add a load balancer, and then load balancer through yourself route the traffic. In that case, you are doing complete management. It's under your control, but then because you are doing it, it's become a manual. Azure say that, why you are doing it? If you give me, I can take care of everything for you. And that concept is called scale set. Now, scale and set. So what happened? Like example, you have 50 users. And if they all need a similar machine, scale set, right? 50 machines, similar, identical skill set. So like example, there will be a question in the exam. At least in my exam, I had that company hired 50 interns, and they need some similar environment. What would you do? Skill set. Make sure you remember more than one skill set. Identical. The benefit of that is if you want more like that, you can create up to 1,000 identical machines. If you're not using, it automatically scale in. Scale in means automatically goes down. So doing this exercise, Azure is not going to charge you a lot of money, but it gives you peace of mind. Second thing, so identical machine is good, but let's assume this type of setup. So you will see the picture, this type of setup. If you're developing 3-tier application, 3-tier application means your database is here, your application server is here, your web server here. Now, anyone who has done development, 3-tier architecture or N-tier architecture is very common in production application, right? Example, you are doing database. Now, let's say if you want 5 database instance, identical, 5. As soon as you hear more than one skill set, so you can create a skill set for database. If you say, I want application server. In our case, if you are doing Windows, then application server is, in our case, maybe IIS server. So if you are using IIS server and if you need a 5 of them, skill set. Or if you are doing web server, maybe Apache, or maybe you're using IIS server, then again, skill set. So skill sets can help you for web tier. Skill set can help you for app tier. Skill set can help you for database, or skill set can help you for development setup. So example, you have interns, they need a separate type of machine. And you have professional, which is the full-time employee, they need a separate type of machine. You can do skill set. So like example, if you have 5 right now, but let's say you are going to hire 50, you don't have to do anything. Instantly, you can create a machine. And that gives you like a ready-made recipe, ready-made. So you don't have to spend time, neither you have to think about installation, configuration, all. Azure gives you this thing in few clicks. So that's why skill set is very powerful. So far, so good. Any questions? Right, so far? Remember, more than one machine. Can I use skill set for one machine? Because one machine, there is no scale set. There is no scale happen. Now, when you do scale, listen carefully. When you do scale, so what is scale means? Scale means from one machine, I can add another machine, another machine, another machine. Yes or no? Am I going to do randomly or am I going to do with the strategically? Strategically. So there will be a lot of question in the exam. They call policy. Scale policy. So scale policy means you don't want to add machine just sake of doing that. You want to add machine when CPU goes 80%, network goes 20%, hard drive go this percent. So you can add a condition. Memory is 80%, CPU is 80%. Then you do scale up. And if you realize that now no longer is using, then you can also add a policy scale in. Make sense? So scale up, scale in, you're not going to do manually. Can I do manually? Yes. But should you do manually in production? No. If you try to do manually in production, then you have to wake up night, morning, evening. You need to be working 24/7 manually for testing purpose. But if you are working in a production, you are going to do automatic scale policy. So far, so good. Now you say, but let's understand a little bit different. So please understand. I started my machine with a setup and I say, hey, scale it two machines. So it creates a identical A. It will create two machines identical. So far, so good. But then you realize, you know what? I need to add something here. I want to add something, maybe something. Now, automatically you can ask, upgrade this. It will upgrade both of them instantly. Good thing or bad thing? So you can create a setup, please pay attention. And that setup, you will create multiple copy. As soon as you change the setup, you can say auto upgrade, then very soon it will be new version. If you make changes in original, it's an auto upgrade, it will be new. It means your production environment will get automatically updated. Good thing or bad thing? Good thing, but there is a problem. Problem number one. If you have version, please pay attention. If you have all web server with version 1, and you are now making version 2. So now you have three choices. Please pay attention. You can do all at once, means all version 1 will become version 2. In that case, you will have downtime. Make sense or not? Because version 1 was there and say all at single point of time should be version 2. So Azure has to stop all. Good thing, bad thing? Bad thing. Because in that case, you have downtime. So Azure say, wait a minute, should you do selection based, which manually you can select and say update this, then update. So manual selection option available to you. Or you can do rolling update. Rolling update means it will update this, then it will update this. So customer will not even notice that there is a problem. Should we do automatic or should we do manual? Automatic. Mike, you have a question?
Yeah, does that auto upgrading apply just to Windows or is that Windows and Linux?
Technically speaking, Azure doesn't like Linux that much. I will be honest with you. So Linux, they do mention, but they are still saying that Linux is still a preview or perspective because they don't want you to use Linux. They want you to use Windows. So there is a small footprint that say Linux is not that supported. So answer to your question is question mark. Okay, because in their documentation they clearly say that skill set 100% validated, 100% validated with Windows. Linux something apply, means something will work, but not all features will work. So one of the things is auto upgrade is not instantly working with Linux. Can I make it work? Yes, there are ways you can make it work, but it's not naturally working as Windows. So far, so
fair enough.
Yeah. The reason I'm explaining because you will see all those things as we go further. So far, good. Next question. Last week, you know why I'm talking about it is going to take 1.5 hours because this concept is very important. Last week, we talked about availability zone and we talk about availability set. Whenever you use scale set, would you use one availability zone or would you use multiple availability zone? Would you use, I'm asking you a question, would you use or would you use multiple availability zone? Yes, not depending, you are making decision. How would you make decision? Always multiple. Because the reason you are doing scale set for production, and production, you don't want to have depend word, right? You don't want to take a risk. So you always use multiple zone, always use multiple zone. So when you do scale set, you need to think about a particular region. listen carefully, particular region, that region should have multiple zone. Don't put your skill set in a region where there is no multiple availability zone.
So, yeah, I got it. Right? So, but there is cost impact with choice, right?
It's a little bit, but cost is definitely, but think about it in production. Cost is important or availability is important.
No, I get it. So if I that available, still need load balancer and
then you can use one zone. Yeah, then you can use one. But what would you recommend for production? Because yeah, it's not that huge cost. Technically speaking, it's not a huge cost because the model are pay as you go model. Pay as you go model. So even though you use 20, it's not like all 20 will charge you, technically speaking. You are paying as you go. So first of all, whenever you select your skill set, think about multiple zone, right? So we will be selecting as we go further. So now let's go back to, yes.
So availability set is within the data set.
In one availability zone, you have data centers, and data center you have rack, and rack is availability set. Correct.
Virtual skill set is nothing to do. There's a logical.
You see, please understand, availability set is data center limited. But when you talk about zone, you are going to use availability set for that, but you're going beyond that, right? You're not focusing on only rack. You're focusing on data center to zone level. So you have quite good redundancy.
Yeah, one of your diagrams showed availability.
Right. I'll cover that part in a few minutes. Okay, now let's go back to our lab. First thing first, you do need to have a subscription, which is paid subscription. So if you do not have, please use that subscription. Today, we are doing a brand new exercise. So we're going to create a new resource group. I'm going to give name RG, maybe 6, because I might have used 5. So I'm going to give 6. So once we are done, we can destroy everything. So let's create a new resource group. I'll say RG6. RG6, or maybe say, let me do 6. Okay, 6 is available. So I have resource group.
I created RGVM set.
Yeah, that's fine. No, whichever works for you, no problem. Now, skill set. Please understand, virtual machine skill set name. So this will give you prefix. So example, if I'm doing web development, just example. So let's say I'm doing web development, then I can say VMS, let's say VMS S dash web. There's a naming convention problem. So make sure you understand there are certain naming conventions will work. Dash works, but underscore doesn't work. So we are using VMSS web. Now, please understand, our Azure portal is pretty smart. So it understands, oh, you are going to do skill sets. It automatically selected East US. The reason it's selected because you have multiple zone available. Please pay attention. So when you do skill set, it automatically understands, oh, you need a multiple zone. So it took the region. So I have multiple zone. So let's select all 3.
So you can do with none also.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah. As I said before, like you are knowledgeable now. What is availability zone means, right? If you use none, means it's going to be 1, right? In that case, there's no benefit of skill set. Maybe your development environment might be you do that development environment. But production, we are going to use multiple.
So none is a choice.
Now, as we go further, there is options available that how your orchestration will work. Orchestration means how scale up, scale down, and all. Ideally, if you use uniform, then Azure will manage. If you do flexible, then you are going to do that. In that case, it's pretty difficult. So I would like to do uniform. Uniform means let Azure manage that as a production kind. In case if you want to know what's the difference between uniform and all, the bubble will give you more information. But you can see here, optimize for large scale, and it is identical. We want identical. There won't be any differences. If you do flexible, you have a choice. You do manually. Technically speaking, if you are using cloud, try not to use manually because everything in cloud has to be managed or some kind of automation. You don't want to do manually. Now, as you go further, security type, we are not going to change anything. We'll keep it like that. Now here, images. By default, it is a selected Windows 10 Pro for me, and I'm going to use that, not a problem. Can I use other operating system? Answer is absolutely yes, you can use it. But right now we're going to use whatever the default selected, because we are going to learn a basic thing. In real life, you might want to ask your development team what kind of environment they want. Example, Linux environment, so they do support Red Hat and all. You can use different environment also. We are going to select by default 64, not a problem. As you go further, Spot. We normally don't use Spot for skill set. The reason why we don't use skill set Spot, because Spot means you are waiting for the best deal, and Azure might give you available free resources, might. So if there is a production where you have huge load and you're waiting, and you did not get a resource, then you will start getting error. So we don't want to take a risk, and that's why we are not using Spot. But if it is a development environment, if it is a QA environment, it's a good idea to consider Spot because it will reduce the cost. But in production, I would not recommend it. Make sense or no? In production, you always use on demand. It means instantly it will be available to you. Another problem in Spot, once you get it, it doesn't mean that you will retain that for a long period of time. When Azure needs it, they will discontinue you and then they will start using it. So you will lose your resources. So it's pretty risky. Now, moving to the next one, we are not hibernating, but let's write the username and password clearly. So I'm going to write down here username and password. So you all can remember that. I'm also going to write down. So here I'll say test user, and the password will be T capital test at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. So please remember your username, test user. Again, very simple. I normally write down so that way I don't have to type. T capital test, and like that. So far, so good. Everyone is doing good so far. Make sure you remember your username and password because you may need that. Good. And you also need to remember your subscription. So I'm using my subscription is Azure subscription 1. You may know your subscription. Now, please understand, it will ask you, hey, I have license. So just say confirm it. I know you don't need that, but you do need to do that. Otherwise, you will get an error later on. So it's important that you configure that. Good. I'm hoping people on phone are following the flow. Now we are going for the next. Sorry, could you repeat again? You don't have? Did you select this one? Windows 10? No? Because they will ask you Windows 10. Good so far. Okay. Now let's continue. We're going to go to next part. Check that. Okay. Now. Sorry?
I'm getting next.
Yeah. Next part. I mean spot. But we are not going to do anything. So we're just going to say next to disk. Okay. Now, if you want to add additional disk, if you want to do encryption, you can. But right now we are not going to do anything. So we'll just do next. Now this, yes. Now here, I want you to pay attention because there are a few things are very, very important for lab perspective and exam perspective. I'm going to draw the picture. Try to understand the picture if you can. There will be 3 hours I'll spend for networking, but I want to make sure you understand because there is a small thing we will do part of the lab, which will be crucial for you to understand. Whenever you create what you call your VM, you are actually selecting VNet. VNet stands for virtual network. And in virtual network, you will have smaller network, which is called subnet. So subnet. So this is the subnet. Please pay attention. This is like crucial. Sometimes you may overlook that, but in my understanding, if you overlook that, you're doing something without understanding, which will create a bigger problem later on. So you will have a subnet. Now, subnet means smaller network, and VNet means bigger network. Now, please understand when we say zone, so I'm going to select zone 1, 2, 3. So every zone subnet is limited. So if you say subnet, that will be limited to zone. Make sense or not? So if I select region East, right? In our case, we selected East. So if I select East, that's a region. So VNet span across the region, and one region can have multiple zones. So VNet can span across the region, but subnet has to reside in one zone. Subnet cannot span across the zone. Make sense? So whenever we say, listen carefully, whenever say I'm using 3 zone, it means if I use my one machine in this zone and one machine in this zone, so they are 2 different subnet. Make sense? They are 2 different subnet and they belongs to the main VNet. Subnet is not a data center. Subnet means in your house, you have like router or switch, and that through switch, you use the network. So like in this office, it's one subnet. Doesn't need to be physical. I'm just giving you idea. See, this is zone, right? Like zone is a physical. So when you say data center, it's a physical. Subnet is a logical. It's a logic. It's not like a touch. You cannot touch it. It's configuration. So like example, my what do you call Comcast gives me internet. I put that in a switch. And then from there, I created 4 small network. So Comcast gave me how many? 1. That's the VNet. It came. And then I say room number 1, room number 2, room number 3. So room number 1 is a zone. Room number 2 is zone. Room number 3 is zone. And inside zone, I can create a smaller network also. Yeah. So subnet in one zone, listen carefully. In one zone, you can have n numbers of subnet. N numbers. You can create it. That is very important. Now, the crucial part, we have to go in detail, but the most important part is here. The VNet start with some IP address. So let's say if my IP address series is 10.0.0.0, and then I say this is 16. It means my network is first 2 digit. Now subnet will start the first 2 digits same because they are part of the VNet. So they have to follow that digits. So VNet has 10.0.0. This is an example. So 2 digit is network. Then subnet is a child actually. So child follow 2 digit and the 3rd digit it will change. And then the next subnet will have different 10.0 they have to use because they are child of that network. And then there will be a 3rd digit will be different. And the 3rd digit define the subnet. And your computer, when you put it here, you will see the number of that computer. So your computer, when you put it here, they will follow this 3 digit and the last digit will be different. If this computer, if you add it here, the first digit will be this 3 and the last digit will be different. So your computer get the IP address from subnet. Subnet get the information from VNet. Make sense or not? Are you understanding? So if you do not know subnet and net, then you will not know how your computers are configured. So when you are trying to do troubleshooting, it will take quite a while. Make sense or not? So we are going to do here. Now, before we go here, one small thing, please pay attention. If you add your machine here, or you add your machine here, if you want to protect your machine, Azure gives you a concept called NSG, Network Security Group. And you have to say what is allowed and what is not allowed. That's called inbound rule. What is allowed and what is not allowed, inbound rule. Now you are doing Windows. And if you want to connect to the Windows, you do need RDP. RDP stands for remote desktop. You want to connect to the RDP. If you don't have RDP access, you can never connect to the Windows box. If you want to access web, then you need HTTP. If you want to know something, then you can enable that. You have right to enable. But because you are doing skill set, listen carefully. Because you are doing skill set, you are going to do only one time. And if you say create 500 machine, then all 500 machine will have same rule. So if, listen carefully, if I say RDP allowed and skill set have 5 machine, will all 5 machine RDP allowed or 1 machine RDP allowed? All will get that. So here it's very important that you configure properly so you get the benefit of multiple times. If you make a mistake, then it will be repeated mistakes. Make sense?
Subnet level is actually set up.
You can do both level, subnet level, or you can do as a machine level. If you ask me, I do at machine level, but you can do at subnet level also. The most security you get at machine level. Subnet means one subnet can have many machines. So if somebody break the subnet, they have all access to the machine. But I would, if I need to do, I would do at machine level. The reason, if that machine might be compromised, but other machine might not be compromised. So it's a good idea to do machine level, easy language firewall. Just like Windows is a firewall, NSG is a firewall, which will control what allowed and what not allowed. Good so far? It is firewall. It is inbound and outbound, right? So now, if you see here carefully, now everything will make sense. You're in network. Do you have a network already? If not, you may need to create it. Do you have network? Say yes or no. If you have it, no problem. If it is not there, you do need to create network. And you can see here right now it is selecting default this one, which is perfectly fine. Because it is selecting VNet, and because it knows that you are going through skill set, it means there are multiple machines. Azure is by default saying you need a load balancer. Now the question is, why do we need load balancer? Load balancer you only need when you have more than one machine, because your traffic will come to main machine, which is the load balancer, and load balancer will route the traffic. So whenever you use skill set, you will use load balancer.
Yeah, why does it?
Because it's kind of what you call one machine, if you want to trace it out. But don't worry about those type of things. In a real life, if you are using 500 machines, the only way you can do transfer the load with the Azure load balancer. Now, if you see, scroll down. Here you see, as I have selected Azure load balancer, but let me just click on this edit part here, the pencil part. Just one thing. So here, the network interface which we have, I'm going to click on this. Just want to show you what you are seeing here. So if you see here, network interface, let me just go back again, making sure you all follow me. If you have network already, then you click on the pencil icon. If it is not there, you have to create it, right? I already have it. So I'm going to click on pencil icon. I want to change one thing. So just want to make sure you follow me. So if I click on a pencil icon, there are a lot of things are there. And you will see here a special thing called NIC Network Security Group, which is NSG. So far so good. Now you can see here by default, it says inbound port is none, right? And now if you scroll down, none means nothing is allowed. It's good thing, bad thing. It's more secure, right? More secure. So I'm going to say allow specific port. I'm going to click on allow specific port. So click here and it will give me the options where I can cherry pick what I want to allow. So please understand, for inbound port, we are saying, hey, allow selected port. And now because we are learning here, HTTP for web server, HTTPS for web server, SSH for remote. This is normally used for Linux, RDP for Windows. Right now, I want you to select all of them. So you can at least understand you are selecting inbound. As you select, it will create a rule for you. Good so far? Please do not make any mistake because there are so many steps we are going through them. So we are doing that. Now it is asking, do you want to do public IP for NIP? I am not doing that. Do you want to do accelerated? Accelerated will, give you better performance. In production, you may need that. So that's why it's enabled. Public IP you should not need, because why would you, expose that outside world? So we keep it disabled.
Why wouldn't you?
Because
the load balance.
This is load balance. You don't want anybody to hack your load balancer because they might route bad. We are not talking about machine yet. Hello, we are not talking machine. This is our NIC, NIC card, and that card, it's basically our NSG. So we are talking about NSG right now. We are not talking about machine yet. There is no machine yet. NSG, network security.
If you don't have how?
You don't need to connect.
If you have to connect, let's say you want to start up an RDP and connect to your set.
Don't confuse with that. This is NSG. RDP is different. You are allowing RDP. See, you are saying that. You're allowing RDP. Yes or no? That's a different part. Think about the box you added. This box allows your traffic get in and out. And this box, you don't want anybody to come and touch the box. That's all you're saying. This is not your machine. Your machine RDP is different. I'm going to show you.
So that's actually the load balancer network interface.
This is attached to load balancer. Load balancer will make it public. Load balancer IP will make it public. But NSG is attached to the load balancer. So it's kind of additional, which we don't want anybody to touch. So load balancer by default will be public. It will take a public IP. But we don't want anybody to do and configure this rule. Otherwise, they will touch that. These are the rule for our NSG. We don't want that machine to be exposed anywhere. Because if they change it, we will be in trouble, right? So this is still hidden. NIC, NSG perspective, we are still in a network interface NSG. Now, it is a firewall. So in case if you, I have it in my office, it's an appliance actually. That's a physical appliance we add in our network. So Comcast has that, and Comcast thing we put it in our security, like a firewall box, that it goes through that, and then I get a traffic. But that my what do you call the firewall box, I keep the local IP. So no one can access. Otherwise, all my rules can be compromised. Because I have 400 rules right now. Comcast is export. That's a public. Gateway. Outgoing is public. But my security, any traffic coming inside right now, it's going through my appliance. No one knows that appliance exists except me, because it is private, right? So that's why we keep it disabled. Can we do later on enable? Yes, if it is demand, just for a few minutes, you can do enable and then you can disable also. Now I'll go to OK. Remember, we changed the rule. Why did we change the rule? Because I want to install the web server. So I want to show you something interesting thing. Okay. Now do OK. So we are back to our main screen. Now, if you scroll down, it is saying select a load balancer. I do not have yet any load balancer as such. So I'm going to create a load balancer if you guys are okay, right? Can I count everyone is here? So I'm going to create a load balancer. So let's create a load balancer. For time being, I'm going to give a name. So I will say web LB, and this one, I'll make it public. This is public. Now you can see here, everything is, there's nothing especially I changed, but just want to make sure you understand this small process here. The picture makes big difference. So make sure you pay attention. This is the load balancer. In industry, we call VIP. In case if you know, VIP stands for virtual IP address. So customer traffic will come to here. The NSG, which we were talking about, it's kind of attached here. So it's kind of behind that. Now, what happened is the load balancer can talk to your machine, and you have two choices. Machine is healthy, yes or no. So for that, it uses health signal. So this load balancer will check the machine with health signal. So you can give HTTP port. Normally it port 80 they use for health signal. And sometimes you do port for forwarding. Port forwarding means if somebody come with X number of port, like example, just an example, if I say 81, if somebody come to port 81 and you want to say, send this traffic to, let's say 91, you can do that. That's called port forwarding. So outside traffic might come to particular port, you check that, and then you can route that. So here there is a configuration here. So if you see here configuration, say by default, how load balancer will see that you're healthy or not, that port incoming 80, and then it will route to your machine as 80. So 80. So people won't notice that internally there is a translation happen. Also, you can do particular port. If somebody comes to this port, you can send this information to particular port. You can change the port if you want to, but for our exercise, we don't need it. But this one is very important for troubleshooting purpose. Please understand. If your load balancer, listen carefully, please see on the screen. If your load balancer, if your machine 1, please see here. If your machine 1, machine 2. If you come here, then sometime you may go here and sometime you go here. Sometime you go here, sometime you may go here. Can you control that all the time you should go to machine 1? Can you control that all time you go to machine 1 if you are using virtual IP or load balancer? No. So to solve that problem, this is very important. If you use that and you can say, you know what, 3389 and 5001. So if you specify this one, it means if you know this machine IP address, which you will know, it has a port. Using that particular port, you can directly go to that machine and debug and troubleshoot. So this way you can go to behind the scene and you can bypass load balancer. Who will know? Only you will know. So you know because you are the one who configure it. So it's important that you can change the port and not make it generic default so that anybody can figure it out. But you can always have an option to backdoor. So this is called backpool. This is called backpool, means your instance pool or backpool. Load balancer is by default using it. Load balancer check the health, and if health is not correct, load balancer this is down and it will not send traffic to that machine. So load balancer by default check port 80 to see that it is healthy or not. If it is healthy, send the traffic. If it is not healthy, it will not send traffic. So it's very important that you use load balancer. Right now, I think we are good with this. So I use my public and I'm going to say create. So I have now my load balancer is here. Everyone is going good so far? Yeah. Now moving to next, scaling. So here, people on phone, please understand initial instance count is 2. Initial instance count is 2. So as soon as you start, you will get 2. Now your policy, should I do manual or should I do custom? Right now, you have to have scaling. How can you not have?
No, mine shows management next after networking.
You don't have scaling option?
No, it says basic, spot, disks, networking, management, and health. So my scaling, like you got, it's not apparent.
Sorry? Okay, if you don't get it, don't worry about it. Huh? If you don't have it, maybe you will see it differently, because ideally you should have, but in case if you don't have it, do you have any link somewhere in management? Do you have a link called scale? Is there a link? No. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not going to change anything. Okay. I'm not going to change anything. We'll do little differently. Don't worry. So if you don't get it, no problem. I'm not going to change here, but by default, I need to. We'll come back here. If in case if you don't have it, we'll come back. Now let's go to management.
So you did manage.
Yeah. You have scaling?
Something they might have chosen the scaling. scaling. See manual.
Ideally, you should have it. That's what this exercise is for scaling.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't.
back-
Ideally, you should have it because this exercise is for scaling. But anyway, I'm hoping you're in a virtual machine skill set, right? Right? And you are using load balancer and all, right? I'll go back a little bit later. So
on the load balancing option, choosing the Azure load balancer.
yes.
It says to allow traffic from your load balancing product, please update the appropriate ports to configuration.
Yeah.
So that's why we created the load balancer, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I would suggest let's continue because otherwise, we'll miss the whole exercise. You will see somewhere options will come because as long as you are in a skill set, hello, see here, as long as you're in skill set option, you will be able to change it later. Don't worry. So let's continue. Now, in management, right? Can I count everyone is in management?
So we chose the scaling.
Yeah, we will make the changes. This is like anytime you can edit it. So it's not like a freeze and final. Now, in management, I want you to see here. This will be a question in your exam. Upgrade mode. Please understand what you are doing is you are creating a template here. And using this template, you are saying how many machines I want. Please see on the screen so at least you understand. So you are creating a template and then you are saying how many machines you need. I have 2. Some of you might have 1 because that's the reason you are not getting scaling because somewhere you have selection which is saying only 1 machine. Maybe you're not selected all zone. Maybe something happened. Don't worry. Later on you can change. But in this template, upgrade mode is important. In upgrade, manual means you are manually going to upgrade. So like example, if you change the template, your template was version 1 and everyone got version 1. But then you come back and say, I want to do version 2. I'll show you how to do that version 2. So if you do version 2, then this is not latest. Version 2 is latest. So if you do manual, you have to apply that manually to your instance or node. If you do automatic, then it will, as soon as you change here, it will automatically change here. But because we want to learn this process, we're going to keep it manual. But in a real life, we do automated. But the benefit of automated is instantly good. So you can see here, there are 3 options. Automatic will do what immediately, manually, which you are doing, and rolling update will do 1 at a time. So you will not have any operational problem. So you have 3 options, automatic, manual, or rolling upgrade. Rolling upgrade means 1 at a time. It won't have downtime. So it's very important. But right now we're going to do manual because we want to learn this exercise. Yes,
Wouldn't
question?
rolling be better than automatic?
Technically speaking, both are similar. Here, rolling will do 1 at a time properly, right? I would not say better versus option. What you want to select. Ideally, most people use rolling in a real life because if you have 8, right, it will do 1 at a time like that, rolling. So it gives you enough, like new and old. If something goes wrong, you can easily revert it back. Right now, we are using manually because we want to learn this process. Okay, so keep it manually, don't change it. Now, there is nothing special here. We are not doing anything. So just go to health. And over there also, we are not changing. So let's go to advanced. Now here, do you see enable scaling beyond 100 instances like options? Right. So ideally, like when you do normal account, you have 100. But if you want to go to 1,000, you can request and you get option for 1,000. Maximum scale set, you can go to 1,000. Now, spreading algorithm, max spread or fixed spreading, you can do the max is better. But if you see here, it gives you an idea like your zone, right? You selected 3 zones. How should you divide, right? That's again. So you get a better option like availability set, whole domain, update domain, everything it will consider. So ideally they are saying, at least you select 5. That's what they are trying to say. But again, we'll select max. So Azure will take care for us. Now here the extension, this will be a very important for us. Extension part I'll cover after the first exercise is done. Extension means like you have template, please pay attention, your template. And once you create the machine, once you create a machine, let's say you want to install something. So there is a way to install is through extension. Using extension, I can give a PowerShell command and I can update my machine. I'm going to show you that. So right now I'm not doing it, but I'll show you in a few minutes later. Now, at this moment, I think we're good to go. So we are not doing any tag. So let's review it. And then if review successfully, make sure your availability zone is selected. Just carefully see that I have initial instance 2. I'm not sure why you have only 1, but I have this 2. If everything is good, then let's click on create. Sorry, I didn't do tag. Just the next. I say orchestrations uniform, right? My naming conventions start with that. Sorry, what is the issue? Now just click on create. What is the issue? Security. Now, what is the complaint? Please be specific. Now you click on that. You click on that, it will highlight. It will highlight. No, it will highlight. See, as I said before, there are 50 plus clicks are there. You can make any mistake, right? Right now, I'm going to click on create.
Sorry to take scaling mode. We are manually. Did we manually update the capacity?
We do not do anything.
Manually.
That's fine. We have also manually. So right now we'll do create. So if I create, after a few minutes, my VM skill set will be created with the prefix. So right now it's creating. You can see here, it is right now creating with the prefix. It's going to take a little time. While it is creating, once it's created, right? If I click on that, once it is ready, if I click on that, I will see 2 instances. And the naming convention will be like this. This is the prefix and it will say 01, 02. And we can change a little bit here and there. So we'll do that part. So right now looks like it's done. So I'm going to click on go to resources, go to resource. Seems like it's done. So I'll say go to resource. And you can see a couple of things here. My skill sets. If you are there, first thing check here status. It said 2 out of 2 succeeded. It means my both machines are created. It is also saying location 1, 2, and 3. These are the zone has selected. It is also saying that this skill set has a virtual IP, which is this one, public IP. So if someone wants to access, they can go through this IP address and through that they can be routed to a particular machine. Hola. So far so good.
Still creating.
Yeah, no, but did you click it or no?
This is creating. They haven't come to.
Oh, they have not.
Yeah, I can see.
Ideally, you all will see this thing that 2 machines are created, right? And you will also see the zone, right? And you will also see the public IP. While it is doing that, I'm just walking through, so at least you understand the concept. I'm not doing anything, explaining the concept. Now here in skill set, you can see instances. So if I click on instances, I'll see both instance. Right? You might, this instance has its own 01 number and prefix we enter. At this moment, if I go to scaling, you will have option scaling here. Ola, could you check the scaling? Do you see that option now? You all should have option now, scaling. So click on the scaling, please. Make sure you follow the flow because this exercise is a longer exercise. There is no point to do half, right? We want to make sure we complete this exercise because this is something I use everyday basis and this is my team use everyday basis. So it's very important that you understand.
We're still, mine's still creating.
So you need to pay bill, Mike, why? It shouldn't take longer. You took East, right?
It literally, it just said it just completed.
Oh, good, good. Yeah,
So where do you want us to go again?
Click on the button, there is a resources, go to resources. Go to resources and then you will come here. Now in scaling, what do you guys see? Do you guys see this thing or no? Now, initial count, do you have options to modify? Was it 2 or 1? It was 2 already? Okay, so that was no problem. Okay, ready? So first of all, congratulations. You have just created 2 instances. So we are 80% done. We have still a long run to go. But any questions so far? Creating 2 machines with the simple setup, quite easy, yes or no? Now I want to show you and make sure you pay attention because you know everyone can stop me anytime. But the problem is we will not be able to move forward. If you all pay attention, we can do a lot of interesting things because this is a very prime service. You use everyday basis, right? So let's focus here. Right now, we have 2 machines. Please pay attention. I want to create a policy, scale policy. So I can have 3, 4, 5 machines. In order to do so, there are options we need to configure. So here we are going to say custom auto scale. Let's click on custom auto scale. Make sure you see and follow the flow. So when you do custom auto scale, now the screen will reflect, right? Now here we are going to write very special rule. Please pay attention. This rule will be a scale rule. Now I'm going to create a what he calls dummy rule, which will trigger more machine. But before it trigger more machine, I need to have more than maximum
Professor?
machine, more than 2.
Hey, Professor?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to get to where
Yes.
you are. I had both groups created, but it's not resources. It's not resources.
Yeah, go to resources. Then click on scaling.
I
Go
see
to
resources.
resources and then
Did you go like in the machine first?
no, I didn't go at all. When you say resources created, there was a blue button. Go to resources.
Oh, I came out of that. How can you get back to that?
Search scaling, skill set.
Skill set.
And then you click on that and you will come back here. Your skill set is only one, I believe. VSMVM. Quickly come back. So we have long run to go, my friend. Come on, search scaling and skill set, and you will get this skill set VM, and you will come to scaling.
All right, I'm there now. Got it.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Now this is very crucial. Instances wise, if I click on instances, I have 2 instances. If I go to scaling, I have 2 minimum. And I'm going to do custom auto scale. So make sure everyone click on custom auto scale. So when you click on custom auto scale, your options available. Now you can see here. If you see here, there are options: scale, auto scale, setting name, resource group, predictive we are disabled, no problem. Auto create, default scale condition, no problem. Scale mode. Scale based on matrix and scale to specific instant count. So I'm going to click on scale based on matrix. So I click on that. And when I click on that, make sure, okay, otherwise you may not see the result properly. So scale based on matrix. Matrix means CPU, memory, hard drive, network. Now it is a minimum 2, maximum 2, and default 2. Will you scale ever? If it's 2, 2, 2, will you scale ever? So which one I should increase? So I can see the scale. Max. So let's do max 5. Max 5. Right? And anytime you make a change, make sure you save it. This is another problem with Azure. They don't give you detail about that. So I'm going to save it just as a safer side, because you will be surprised. Sometimes your changes will not be reflected quickly.
There's no point saving it before adding a rule.
Yeah, no. Please, let's save it. I just want to be safer side. So I'm going to save it right now.
It says fail to update resource PM set.
No, it's done successfully. See, guys, I'm doing in front of you, right? It done successfully. Yeah. So now.
Yeah, mine complained. Said failed to update.
What is the problem?
I got an error.
Same problem.
Anyway, let's go back again. In case if you are having a problem, that's a setup problem, so we can fix that. You are in custom auto scale. Scroll down.
Yeah. It's a subscription issue.
You have to have pay as you go subscription. You won't have a problem then. Do you? No. What do you have error? Okay, I'll show you. I'll fix the problem for you. No problem. Come here. See again. Make sure you are remaining there scaling. We are in custom auto scale. Okay, we should be able to fix it. No problem. Let's select the scale based on metric. Write 5 here, and we're going to add a rule here. Make sure you see on the screen, because it's a little, as I said before, there are a lot of small parameters which we need to configure. Add rule. Now, because there are so many rules you can write, I just want to show you like how it's triggered the scale. That's all I want to show you. So can I write CPU's rule? The answer is yes. Can I write memory? So I have so many ways I can scale. If CPU goes up, memory goes up, I can scale. Scale means from 2, 3, 4, 5 machine I can. But you know that this machine doesn't have anything running on. Do you think CPU will go higher, 180%? Nothing. So in order for me to just hypothetically create a rule which triggers scaling, I'm going to use network rule. And I'll put %1. So it will trigger. So you can see that. So at least you will feel good that, yeah, scaling works. Make sense or no? So right now, search here. See here, I'm here. Matrix name, search here in. So search in, in. So there is a network in total. We will be selecting this one, because this one can help us to trigger, because network traffic will be there. So you search in and select network in total. So you select that. Now, if you scroll down, it gives me option 70%. It gives me option 70%. I don't think our network will go to 70%. So I'm going to put it 1. I know it is not good, but it will help me to trigger the scale. So I'll say 1. Okay. Why I'm doing it in real life, it will be 70%. But because I need to show in a classroom instantly, so there is 1. Now what we are trying here, if network traffic goes 1 in 10 minutes, instead of 10 minutes, I'll make it maybe 2 minutes, 4 minutes. Minimum, you should have 5, but I'm trying to do 2 minutes. If 2 minutes continuously network traffic remain 1, then we are saying that we will scale it. Okay, so we are specifying a rule. We are saying network traffic remain 1 for 2 minutes, then it will increase 1. So check it out. It says count by increase count by 1. It means I'm creating a rule for scale up. Make sense or no? But in case if I do decrease here, then it's called scale in. Make sense or no? You can do many rules, okay? In a real life, you can do many rules. You can do memory goes up, scale up, CPU goes up, scale up, IO goes up, scale up. You can do that. For time being, we're gonna do that. Can I do 2 here instantly? You can. You can say, I want to do 2 instantly. You can do that. But right now, why would we do? So we'll say add. So right now we are adding one rule called scale out rule. And if you do OK, you will see scale out rule. Give me thumbs up if you are able to see scale out rule. And it does say increment 1. Okay. Make sure you keep it 5 here. It's because we want to really see that is scaling. Now, make sure you save it. I hope this time it goes smoothly.
So we have saved that. The subscription is not registered to use namespace Microsoft Insights.
All of you got it?
So it is subscription is not registered to use namespace Microsoft Insights.
Did you change some namespace?
It's not registered
Uh-huh.
to use the namespace.
Let's do a little Googling. Maybe it will help. But while you're doing that, I just want to show you instances. So it will trigger in few seconds for me. Let's see if that works out well. It should trigger because we give it 2 minutes. So it might take 2 minutes and it will trigger. We need to do Googling for you, like what's the problem. But right now I have scaling here. We have done scaling here. So ideally it should trigger. So let's see. It says scale out rule is there. It is recommended that to have at least one scale in rule, which we didn't do, no problem. But we have scale network in total, increase count by 1. Let's see if it trigger. So right now 2, scaling. I just want to make sure instance count is 2. Scale modes based on matrix, which is there. Scale condition is executed when none of the scale condition match. Add scale condition. Auto create default scale. Let's see if it does works. If it doesn't work, we can play around. So here you can see here I have rule here. At least one scale rule, which we have already. So we did that. Let's see if it is picked up. Still it's at 2. So let me draw this thing, what we are trying to do. This is pretty interesting. And I hope all of you can do it well. Please see on the screen. What we are going to do is we are going to ask VMSS that I need to add custom script. So this is VMSS. VMSS, hey VMS, I need add a custom script. Add custom script. So VMSS will add custom script. And in custom script, we are going to give a PowerShell command. Please pay attention. We are going to give a PowerShell command. And we'll say, hey, install IIS server. Install IIS server to both of my machine. Both of my machine. It means through PowerShell, I will install IIS web server. That IIS web server will go to VMSS. VMSS will say, you know what, I have a version 1, version 2. So we'll say, you know what, I'm going to manually upgrade. So when I say upgrade, it will check, oh, you have version 2 because you have now new things in your way, which is IIS script through PowerShell. Then it will install version 2. Version 2 means nothing but in our case, IIS server. So it will install IIS server. And then I, as a user, I will use VMS's public IP, which is load balancer in our case, and say, hey, access this URL. And when I access the URL, automatically I will access the web server. So that's what we're gonna do it. Now, many of you got an error about the subscription is not registered for Microsoft Insight, right? Subscription is not registered for Microsoft Insight. Many of you got an error. If you got an error, we found the solution. Solution is pretty easy. In case if you have an error that your subscription is not registered, then in that case, you just search subscription, right? Search subscription, then click on subscription. After subscription, pick your subscription which you used it. So I use this one, so click on that. And then when you go further, you have options called resource provider. So click on the resource provider. Those who have error that your subscription is not registered. For me, that issue didn't come, so I didn't notice that, but some of you have that. So click on resource provider. And in resource provider, search that Insight. And when you search that, click here. And once you click and then you register that. So I already have registered. Some of you may need to register. Once you register, you do need to go back to your VMSs and you set the scale policy. And you will be able to create that. Now,
There was another way to
yes, Mike.
teach that. If you're in that VMS group or that web that we created, at the very bottom, you might see, if you scroll all the way down,
Insight.
you might see Insight down there. If you click on that,
Okay, nice.
it'll
Nice.
ask you to do some stuff so that, yeah, there you go.
Enable.
And then after a few minutes, it takes a little bit, but after a while, you can start saving that stuff again.
Okay. And that is the reason you guys got triggered. You see, because I was not able to get that, what do you call, the metrics. Now mine should be triggered, because if I not get the metrics, I can't get the trigger part. So it's good news. It's configured now. So it should trigger now. Thank you, Mike. That's pretty helpful. Because I was wondering, like, even we don't have 1% traffic. Now it should trigger, so which is good sign. Anyway, that part is good. So please understand, we are going to do this exercise, has a little bit more steps involved. So I have done some homework for you. And the homework is I created a command, PowerShell command. Please, hello, see on the screen. That's fine, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, that's a good thing. So I have done a homework. I need attention, okay? Because these steps are very important and very crucial. If you understand, then it will give you meaning to this exercise. Otherwise, you will become a robot. I don't want you to be a robot. I want you to understand what we are trying to do. We are trying to install IIS server through scale set. And that IIS server, how to install in your Google class, or you can go through in your Google class. Please go to Google class. In your Google class, I added a link. So if you go to Google class, and look for Azure. I added a one command there. It's a little bit difficult, so that's why everywhere I added. I added PowerPoint everywhere I added, because it's very hard to write that. So I thought maybe it would be easier if I go through that command. So if I go to PowerPoint, not PowerPoint, it should be lab, right? Scale set lab here. So if you go to your Google class, I added this command because if you type, I'm sure you will make more mistakes. So I kind of created this command for you. What it does, it says, hey, enable Windows optional. You all need to understand, please. We are saying enable Windows optional feature, and we are saying install at least IIS server. And then we are saying install this thing. So what I'm going to do, you also follow me. You copy this thing. copy this command, Control C. It's in Google Class, and those people who are online, I'm going to put it in the chat so that way you have all information available to your way. Now, in order for me to test it out, what I normally do, I test it in local machine. Local machine means my laptop. You will be surprised. I was making small typo and it took me 2-3 hours because there is no easy way to troubleshoot. So I kind of did a step-by-step troubleshooting part. So it's easier now. So first we're going to do locally. So what is happening here? If you go to your Google Chrome, add a new tab in your local machine, in your laptop, add a new tab, right? Mac people will not be able to do, but when the next step, which I'm going to show. So here, if I write localhost, I should get an error. Why? Because in my local machine, there is no web server running. Make sense or no? So the command which I gave you, it's a PowerShell command. So that command through I will install. If I can install in my machine, then if I give that command to ScaleSet will install in all machine. Because if you directly go to ScaleSet, it is taking a lot of time because every 2-3 minutes I have to wait, I have to troubleshoot. It was very tough. So we are going to do this thing first locally, make sure the command works. Then we'll create a PowerShell script and then we'll give it to ScaleSet and ScaleSet will do magic for us. So right now, search here PowerShell. PowerShell. Most of your computer will have PowerShell because it comes by default with Windows. Now, many versions of PowerShell, so don't worry about it. Whichever works, we'll try that. So Windows PowerShell, I'm going to use first one, but don't click it. You need to run as an admin. Run as an admin. Because these commands, you can only run through admin. So you can right click on a PowerShell and you can click on run as an admin. So I'll say PowerShell, always see on the screen, right click and run as an admin. Run as an admin. So you will get a nice, beautiful PowerShell window. Just say yes, yes, and you will get this window. If you are able to get this, you are doing awesome. Now, remember you copied the command. You right click and paste that command and you press enter, it will start installing for you. You right click and it will paste for you and press enter. It will start installing. It will start installing IaaS server in your local machine. It means the command is working. Now, these commands are available through Microsoft site. So what I have done, I have added links in your homework and lab. So that way you can refer it. You don't have to do a lot of heavy lifting. I already did for you. So right now it's installed. It may take a minute or two. Good news, it's working. If it is an error, it will right away give you red color. Right now it's not an error, so it's working very well. After a few minutes, it will say successfully installed. See, it's done. So now, if you go to browser, remember we created a browser here, and if you refresh, it says ta-da! It means web server is installed. Give me thumbs up if you are able to see that. Yeah, but there is other thing you will be able to do. Nice, nice, good job. I like that ta-da. Now we have tested. It means my command is right. So what we are going to do, don't lose the focus, guys. Okay, we have still a lot more steps to do. Now, what we need to do, we need to create a PowerShell file. I need whole attention, okay? Because this will work nicely. So we're going to create a file called web1. You can give any name, but the extension will give PS1, lowercase PS1. And we'll store this file. We'll store this file on a desktop with the one command, the command which I gave you, that command will do. So let's do step by step. Mac user can create another, you can use any editor you have. Because I'm a Windows user, so I'm using Notepad. Mac user can use any editor. So right now open Notepad, search Notepad and open Notepad. make sure you follow me, Notepad, and paste that command, the command which we just ran it. Just Control V. Don't type it because I had a lot of time waste because I was typing. And to be honest with you, I was doing mistakes. So read any notepad and you paste this command. Do not type, always cut and paste. Now I'm going to save this file, save as, file, save as. And when you save as, make sure you select all first. There should not be any extension. Select all here. I selected all here. And I'm going to select desktop, whichever you like, download, desktop, wherever you want to copy, it's up to you. So I'm going to copy in a download folder. Remember, this is the area where I'm going to save my file. I will give my file name in double quotation. I'll say web1.ps1 in double quotation. Web1.ps1. Make sure the extension remain .ps1 because that will signify that this is the PowerShell script. Name doesn't matter, web1, web2 doesn't matter, but extension does matter. The reason I use double quotation, so it will create a .ps1. Otherwise it will add text and I don't want text. I selected star here and I save it. Right now the file will be saved under download folder. So at this moment, you should have a file with one command. File name will be web.ps1 and this is the command. So far so good? Everyone is doing good? Ola? Yeah. Perfect. Now magic will start. We need to use this file in skill set. There are 4 steps to know, steps to perform. I just want to make sure you visualize the picture. Please see on the screen. More you see, clear it will become. This takes time, but because I have done homework, most likely it will work. VMSS will not know your file. So VMSS need a custom addition. So we need to add a custom script addition extension. We'll add that. So first step, please, everyone see on the screen. First, we'll add a custom script addition. Then we need to have a storage account. If we do not have a storage account, we need to create a storage account. Please see on the screen, so at least you clearly understand storage account. In storage account, we need to create a container. Once we create a container, we will upload the file. Our file will upload. Our file name is web1 ps1. Once we upload the file, then ScaleSet will start rebuilding the machine. When ScaleSet rebuild the machine, it will give me clue here at instance 1. We have 2 instances, instance 1, instance 2. It will say this is not latest. It will say no, it is not latest. It is not latest. Then I'll say upgrade. So when I say upgrade, it will take my file, it will apply, and within 2 minutes, it will install ISL. I'm going to do step by step. The only way you will be able to do it if you pay attention, because these steps are crucial and it's human nature, we can make mistakes. First thing first, right now, I'm going to go back to my Azure portal and I'll try to see if my instance triggers. So far, not triggered. But you can see here, it says it's not latest. So if you have some error like that, if it is not latest, means something changed happened. Listen carefully. Make sure you understand. If you don't pay attention, you are doing homework or lab, not understanding what I'm trying to explain. This is a crucial part because ScaleSet, any rule you change, any patch you do, because I change rule. Remember I said I changed some rule. So if I change some rule, that rule is not associated yet. So I have to check. If you don't see latest, if you say yes, means your machine is latest. Those who are having a trigger, remember your trigger, you're getting multiple instances. It means you have a latest. I do not have latest, so I need to check, and I need to apply. I need to upgrade that. Upgrade in the sense of now it will take new thing. So if I upgrade, it will take a minute or 2, and it will say yes. It will rebounce, means it will bounce the machine. It will take the latest and greatest. Again, it's always a good idea to have latest. If it is not latest, don't move forward. If it is latest, you don't have to do anything. So right now it is going to do latest. It may take a minute or two. It will bounce the server and let it refresh. See, it's updating. This is the way you normally upgrade because we chosen manual upgrade. Remember Mike said rolling update, automatic update. In a real life, we do automatic or rolling update. But because I want to show you, I use manual. So every time I make a change, I need to do manual upgrade. In a real life, it will be automatic. So right now it is bouncing and see now it says latest. After a few minutes, my machine will be in healthy condition. When my machine is healthy condition, then I can add extension. It take a minute or two and it should be up and running. So right now one is up and other is coming soon and both is ready. In your case, you have always up, so no problem. One thing before we do anything, click on your instance one more time. Sorry, click on overview, my mistake, click on overview. So when you click on overview, you see public IP. Yes or no? Now, please copy this IP and paste in your Google Chrome tab. So you can click here. First you copy. So you can copy that, click to copy. So you can copy that. So when you copy that, the IP is copied. Now go to your new tab, Google tab and paste, you will get error because there is no web server running on our machine at this moment. Right now, both my machines are running, but there is no web server. So I have an error. Now we're going to do step by step. We'll install the web server. So far, you guys are with me. We're going to do now steps. Okay. Ready? So follow the steps. First, click on extension. This one. Click on extension. You guys are doing fantastic. Okay. We are almost there. Click on extension. So when you click on extension, there are so many things you can do. You can run Python program, you can run R, you can run Java, you can do Linux. I'm going to run a script because PowerShell is a script. So we'll click on add. Okay, let's click on add. Click on add. So when you click on add, it's going to give you option like that. Okay. Now search your script. Because we are trying to add a script. This script is a custom script extension. So click on it. So when you search on script, it will be custom script extension. So click on it. So when you do custom, why would you need that? Because when you create a machine and if you want to customize, this is the options available, which you can post execution. Once your machine is ready, you can do post execution for whatever you want to do. So that's called custom script extension. So now it say, hey, you have Microsoft version available. So I'll say, yes, I want to need that. So I'll say load more. So just click here and you can go to next. I'll click here and I'll go for next. Some of you might be already having that in case if you have installed it. But for my case, I'm just clicking here and I'll say next. As I click on next, it's going to install in a few seconds. Now it says, okay, ready to go. Do you have a script for me? So at this moment, the custom script extension is installed, but do you have script? The script, Microsoft only read the script from storage account. So it will ask for storage account. If storage account it's not there, you have to create it. In storage account, you need to create a folder, which they call container. In container, we'll upload our script. Remember, we created a script called web1.ps1. We'll upload it and then we'll bring it here. So let's follow the flow. We're going to click on browse. Click on browse. Click on browse. We're almost there. Click on browse. So in browse, it will ask you storage account. If you already have storage account, you may want to use, you can use it. But because I'm interested in creating a new, I'll create a new storage account. So let's click on storage account. I'll start a brand new storage account, not to have any deviation. So click on storage account. I will spend time next week a little bit more and explain storage account. There are a lot to explain in storage account. So it is one of the 3 hours exercise. So we'll cover that. Now I'm going to give a name. So today my name is, I'll say web storage accounts, SRS. So created storage account. So again, brand new storage account, give a name, any name of choice. I created web RS. At this moment, I'm not changing anything. Resource group is by default selected. So remind me before we go home, we will delete that. Now, okay, so creating resource group is not a huge thing. It's piece of cake. So far, you guys with me? Okay. So once storage account is created, next step will be creating container. What's the error? What is the error? Read and fix it. What's the error you got?
Do we have to have unique names for the storage accounts?
Yes, I think so. I think so. Just change it. Just add 1, 2, 3. Add 1, 2, 3, ABC.
Or just
So
add
I
your
have-
first name to the end of it?
So I have my storage account created. If you have error, just do 1, 2, 3 or first name. I like what Mike said. Use first name. That's fine. Good. Okay. Now, those who are able to create, you will see here your storage account. Click on it. So you can go further inside. Yeah, give me some thumbs up, so at least I know that you are with me. Okay. So now you go inside. Here we will create a container. Okay, don't go forward. We are almost there. So when I click on that, I have options for creating a container. So let's click on container. So we're going to click on a container. So when I click on a container, you can give any name of container. So I'll use my container, simple, my container. Container is nothing but folder. Container, and just say create. My container, create. So right now, you can see here, I have my storage account and I have container. Now you click on the container and we're going to upload the script. Click on the container and we're going to upload the script. So click on a container and now your option is available, upload the script. If you remember, at least I stored my script in download folder as a web1.ps1. So I'm going to upload it by clicking here, upload. So when I click on upload, it will give me options. So I'll say browse file, and then select the PowerShell script which you created. So I created under download folder. Please understand, it has to be proper naming convention. If it is .txt, it will not pick it up. And make sure the command is properly written, which we tested. So I'm pretty hopeful it will work. So double click on it. So at this moment, file is uploaded. Now we are going to say upload. So when you click on upload, it is uploaded successfully. At this moment, your file is in container. Container is in storage. Sorry, container is in storage account. And now we want to see that is our skill set realize that there is something new came. Okay. So we need to go back to our custom script extension and we need to open that thing. So if I go to here, custom script, in custom script, now I can browse it. I can browse that file. Make sense or not? So if I browse it, that file will be visible under VMRS under container. Double click here so you can say select, and you can see now that file you selected. This file came from my storage account, from storage account to container, and container I just click, I got it. Now I'm about to run this file. At this moment, when I say create, it's going to run it's going to apply that script. So when it applies, it takes a couple of minutes. A couple of minutes. For me, it went successfully. Did you guys went? Perfect. Anytime it went successfully, it's a good sign. Now I want to go back to my VMSs and see what happened. Okay, so I'll go to VMSs. VMSs should detect there is a new version available. So I'm going to VMSs, which is our case will be the VMSs which we created is the VMSs web. You search here, it should be visible somewhere, right? So you click on it and it should detect that something new came. It should detect. So if I go back to my VMSs and if I go to instances, I'd go to over, 1 second, where I am right now. This one. Yeah, here you go. And if you see instances, it will say that something is old. Yes or no? Because it detected that something came. Good or not? It's good. Now, see here, browser was giving error last time, right? Yeah, still it's giving error when I refresh. Now give me a couple of minutes. I'm going to say check. Oops, my mistake. I need to go back again. Check both instances. Check 1, check 2, both select check. And now you're going to say upgrade. As soon as you upgrade, it's going to apply that power script command. And as soon as it restart, web server will be up and running. So it may take a minute or two. And web server will be up and running. And you can refresh for a second. And it says updating, which is good sign. So this way you continuously upgrade your instances. Just one action. If you're 500, 600, you can increase that also. The maximum you can go up to 1,000. Some reason my networking did not even still picked up. I'm still curious why it did not pick it up. Maybe my insight is not giving result properly. I'm still curious. While I'm waiting, I'm just thinking about what is the maybe something not clear. But anyway, ideally, I should see the trigger point should happen. It's successful. Now, if you refresh the virtual, and you should see the hello world here. Did you notice that? So now your both machine has a web server is running, and you can refresh and it should see. Give me thumbs up if you are able to see that. So we are successfully able to install IaaS server. We are successfully able to do custom script in our VM skill sets. Now, if I continuously do so, this thing, right? If network traffic increase, right? Ideally, the scale policy should have triggered. Some of you might have multiple instances running. Yes or no? 5, right? So the reason it is because your case is some reason scaling policy is triggering. For me, my case, why it's not triggering, I want to see again one more time. So here 2, 5, go back here. Maybe something is not right. So I say matrix greater than 1. I say network in total. Increase count by duration 2 minutes. What minute you give? 1 minute or 2? Still, your is trigger, right? Mine is not some reason. Sometimes this one hasn't happened because of the refresh. It's not refreshing the way I want. But anyway, you are able to see that you are able to configure that. Now, a couple of advantage skill sets gives you is you just set up one time and everything, whatever you set up, will be available to this instance. Let's say if I want to access directly this instance, you can access it, just go there. So you can pick one instance and you can get the instance IP address. You can get other informations about that. So you can say public IP and you can connect that. So let's do RDP to that one of the instance, so at least we can see how it goes. So let me go back again one more time. In a VMSS, we have multiple instances. Please see on the screen. In VMSS, we have multiple instances. These are machines. These are Windows machines. I can connect to any of the machines of my choice. I click on one of the machine. So when I click on one of the machine, I go inside. Once I see that, I can see the option called connect. Now you can see here, I can connect with multiple ways. I can connect with RDP, SSH, or Bastion. So we'll select RDP. So let's click on RDP. So when I click on RDP, you will get the screen like that. Good so far. Now, by default, RDP is this port. This is the RDP port 3389. So you download RDP file. Download RDP file. When I download RDP file, the file will have an extension .rdp. Mac user need to install RDP aware software because there is a software available, which you have to download it or configure. They call RDP aware, I believe. Then they will understand RDP, because by default Mac does not understand RDP. But those who are having a Windows, naturally it will understand. So once you download, double click on this RDP file, double click on it, and it will prompt you username and password. So I go to download folder. In download folder, I have this file RDP. I'm going to double click on it. So as soon as I double click, it will ask me my username and password. I'll say connect. I double click it and say connect. So as soon as I connect, it will get me two options. First, it will say, what is your username and password?
That one's going to fail.
Why? What failed?
If you try that again, you'll see the IP you're going for is a 10 dot. So you got to use the
Okay.
load balancer.
Yeah. 1 second. 1 second. No, I'm using private IP, so that's why my mistake. Sorry for that.
You have to select the load balancer.
I have to select this one. Sorry, because I said, well, what happened? So we will, my mistake. We have to select this one. Okay, load balancer public IP, and let's download one more time RDP file. So you click here and check that download RDP file. And now click on the new file. And this is good enough, right? This is the new one, because this one we have username and password. And if you remember, we have captured username and password. So I have test user. And then we have this user password. Now, if I do OK, I'm able to connect. So yes. Yes. And I'm in. This machine is just like your laptop. You can install, you can configure. So those who, wants Windows machine, you can keep the Windows machine available, and you can stop when you're not using it and use it. This machine should have IIS running also. So when it start, I'll see that local host, and it should show me IIS server because we install in this machine. So by default, it should have it. So I'll just say accept. And right now, the machines I'm able to do it. Double click on your IE browser and see if IIS server is running. So localhost, if I type, technically speaking, it should pick it up. So continue. And if I type localhost, and IIS server is running. Make sense? Same thing, you can add a custom script. You can say stop it. You can do that as well. You can also say remove it. You can do as well. Now, any questions so far? So far, the diagram perspective, any questions? Yes.
Power script on the PowerShell?
You can run PowerShell, the now new version of you need to download new version. New version is a platform independent.
When you have a PowerShell on the VM, right? So you're on the VM, there is a PowerShell connection.
Yeah, you can run
On
that.
the top,
Uh-huh.
you get a PowerShell.
Yeah, it's just a Windows machine. You can do technically anything. It's a Windows machine, right?
Right.
Here,
On that,
yeah, you can run.
So when I am running a center connected to one machine, how many machines are we connected?
One at a time, you connect only one machine.
How do I know which machine am I connected?
IP address too. You can know the IP because you see, if you are going through load balancer, very good question, first of all. If you're going through load balancer,
Yeah.
right? Sorry, let me do Control Z here. I delete that file. Anyway, if you're going through load balancer, anytime you go to load balancer, your traffic can go because you have two machines available. So you can go to one or other, right? So each machine has its own IP address. So normally what in a real life, what we do is we change the host name. We change the host name. So we can say host name 1 and host name 2.
Yeah.
In our case, if you remember, our host name is like web, VSS. So if you go to your CMD, let's go to CMD. If I go, let me. Here you go. So if I go to CMD, right?
Yeah, this is again you are on your desktop.
No. I'm in a virtual machine now, right? Virtual machine.
RDP.
Yeah, RDP.
Okay.
So you can see here I write host name. So if I write host name, it will give me that clue. That's the one.
Yeah. So what my question was not that. If you go to Azure portal,
Yes.
and there is that button on the top.
Which one?
On the top, after the search bar, the top.
This one?
Yeah, that. Click that.
That's a Cloud Shell. That is you can run PowerShell command here as well. It is always going through, see, load balance, just like your computer is doing. Why don't we do this? So if I click here, right? So it is going to connect, right? It is going to connect with my load balancer only because you are not going to go directly to, right now, if I have selected, please understand, if I selected this, it will always go to that. Right?
But I selected actually VM set web. So I'm connecting the VM set.
Then you are going through public because then you're going through load balancer.
Then I can actually run the command.
Cloud Shell, yeah, you can run Cloud Shell.
What happens if I run the PowerShell command? It's not PowerShell. It is PowerShell. It's back.
You can change it.
Yeah, PowerShell. So
you can change PowerShell. Then you can run it. Yeah. But you need to be admin, okay? In that one, make sure you confirm, and you should be able to run. The base thing, storage account, the base thing is you upload the file. So the file, if you have it, if you put this command on your file, then do it. Now, a couple of things, please understand. Let's say you made a change to this file. What will happen? The change won't be detected. Change won't be detected for you. So you have to go back again and whole process you have to do custom script and all. Because as soon as you apply, it loses that connections with that script. You need to do one more time. As soon as you do one more time, if I go back to my instance, if it is working, you will see no here. It means VMS has detected the new script. If it is saying yes, it means VMS is not detected. So
VMS has detected, there is a change.
Correct. Exactly. And if it is saying no, it means VMS is saying that what you are working in the old copy, the new copy is not, means new changes are not applied. So that's why you need to apply upgrade. Do I need to select both? No. If you want to say, I want to change only one, then you can apply to that machine only. And this way you can test it out. So majority people do that before they do CNAME change. right? So right now we are on time on SEP. So this is the only exercise I was able to do. I wanted to do second, but we are running out of time. But I hope you enjoy. In your homework perspective, actually there are a couple of things I ask you to do. Don't worry about this activity because we have not done it. This activity does require quite good software to install. So I'll cover next class.